conversations the last few weeks with clients and people on social media about frustrations with their inability to stay motivated, or frustrations with their ability to stick with the program, or frustrations with having time, or the program working, or finding something that they enjoy doing. And I feel like there's a lot of answers to that. But I think a lot of times it comes down to one common factor. And it relates to, speaking personally as well, wanting to seek or compare ourselves to other people's progress, or wanting to seek and compare ourselves to other people's results, or I guess, for lack of better words, saying selfishly looking at other people and trying to compare ourselves to where they're at. So I like to tell a story. I remember, this has been a long time ago, but I was at the Y and I had been swimming and I was swimming laps. And I remember I pulled my goggles up and this younger woman walks by in front of me. She had on this amazing swimsuit. It was like green. I still remember it. And it like crossed in the front. It was like hunter green and she had kind of olive skin color. She was very curvy. And I remember thinking that swimming suit was beautiful. It fit every curve on her. It covered the right way. It accentuated her strengths as far as how her body looked. And I remember just looking at her thinking, that swimsuit is amazing on her. Like, she looks so good. I wonder where she got that swimming suit. And she walked on by and she kind of made eye contact with me and then looked back straight ahead and went back to her lane. So I kept on swimming. Well, we get in the locker room later and I'm taking a shower. I get out and I'm getting ready to change and she walks by me again in that same swimming suit. And I remember looking at her again. She looks at me and looks away. And I looked at her again and I was like, oh, I hate to be the dorky person that asks somebody where they got their swimming suit, but I really wanted to know because I loved how it looked on her. So finally I got dressed and I went over. I made sure she was still dressed, try not to be completely awkward. And I said, hey, ma'am, I just have a question for you. I said, and she kind of, I started to say, where? And she goes, oh, what? Like, kind of annoyed with me. And I was like, okay, what? And I said, all I wanted to know is where you got that swimming suit because it looks fantastic on you. And she stops and she just looks at me and she goes, what? And I said, I love your swimming suit. It fits you perfectly. Where did you get that? And she looks at me again and she's like, that's what you're gonna say to me? I'm like, yeah, that's what I wanted. And she goes, okay. She goes, honestly, I have to apologize then, because she goes, I saw you looking at me in the pool and I saw you looking at me here in the locker room. And in my head, I thought, she's judging me. Oh my gosh, she's one of those fit girls who is thinking about how fat I am or how I'm spilling out of my swimsuit or how I should be ashamed of how I've let myself go, probably judging how many carbs I eat a day. And she's like, I honestly thought you were coming over here to solicit me for personal training or something based off how your fitness level and how you look in a swimming suit. And I was like, what? And she goes, you mean you weren't coming over here to judge me? I was like, no, I didn't even have one of those thoughts cross my mind. I honestly couldn't believe how great you looked in your swimsuit. And I wanted to know where you got your swimming suit. And she's like, wow. And she like got kind of teary and she's like, that's not ever what I think people are thinking when they look at me. I really thought you were coming over here to be rude. And I'm like, no, I said, and we went on to talk and have a conversation. She ended up getting her swimming suit at Land's End or something and showed me the link. And we talked a while and then we went on our way. And I think when I walked away from that conversation and she walked away from that conversation, we both had the realization of how many times we assume the other person, assume things about the other person. We assume their thoughts. We assume their actions. We assume and put thoughts and words into other people's mouths selfishly on our own part without truly knowing what's going on. And I think we do the same thing with our fitness programs. We look at other people who might be taking the new weight loss shot that a lot of people are taking, the diabetic drug. We might look at people who've had bariatric surgery. We might look at people who have found a program that's working. We might look at people who are naturally thin but are actually very unhealthy. We might look at people who maybe have eating disorders and not know that and think, wow, they're so skinny. And we tend to assume that they're better than us, or that their program's working better than ours, or that they have it better than us, or they don't have these excuses or these reasons or these time constraints or these stresses. And we get in this derailed thought process of ruminating on our own problems and our own inefficiencies and shaming ourselves. When in reality, we are our own person with our own struggles, with our own successes, with our own goals. And I think if we can stay in our lane and focus on one thing we can do every day to get better, a lot of that falls to the side.